It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon up here in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains as we get set for Game 2 of our softball doubleheader at Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium at Lynn Cottrell Park. It's the #1 ranked team in the nation, North Georgia Nighthawks, and the Augusta University Jaguars, ready for battle on the Nighthawk Sports Network. If you were with us in Game 1, glad to have you back. If this is your first time here, we're glad you've decided to join us alongside the rest of the NSN team. Robert DiClemente on hand for you this afternoon as we are underway here in game number 2 after that strike from Tybee Denton. Nighthawks are coming off a dominant 12-0 run rule shutout win in 5 innings over the Jags about 30 minutes ago as this ball is out of here. The first batter up to bat for the Jags, and Bobby Poff gets things going here for Augusta. Their first run of the afternoon is going to be a home run from Poff to get things going here early for the Jags. And what a start compared to what they had in Game 1, as we just mentioned, were shut out 12-0 in that game. But here they are right out the gates, coming in hot. And we'll see how the Nighthawks respond here as Denton pitches a ball there to make it a 1-0 count, with Lauren Slade up to bat as she fouls this one over the Jags bullpen to make it a 1-1 count. And that's just the third hit of the afternoon for the Jags. None bigger, though, than that one as they take an early 1-0 lead over the #1 team in the country. 1-1 pitch is going to be upstairs for ball 2. Denton trying to follow up the great pitching performance from Kristen Davis, who, as we mentioned in Game 1, 2 of the best in the PBC, as Moody makes a great grab there to give us our first out of the game number 2. Which brings Bailey Roberts back up to bat here in Game 2. Bailey had one of the 2 hits for the Jags in Game 1. The other one coming from Pearson. And the 1-0 pitch, a swing and a miss. It's going to give us a 1-1 count. Jags looking to rebound here to try to take down the Nighthawks for the first time in 11 seasons. And for the first time on the road in program history. And the Nighthawks looking to secure both wins of the doubleheader and secure the series win between these 2 PBC squads this afternoon. And that win in Game 1 was North Georgia's 14th in a row. And the 1-2 pitch from Denton. Outside for ball 2. And the Jags are going up against 2 of the best pitchers in the nation this afternoon, facing off against Davis in Game 1 and now Denton here in Game 2. And Denton has been holding batters to a 125 batting average this season, which ranks #1 in the Peach Belt Conference as Tybee Denton gets her first strikeout on the board this afternoon. And so up to bat is Paige Patterson. As she sees a strike there from Denton to make it an 0-1 count. Patterson went 0 for 2 in game number 1, looking to get her first hit of the afternoon here as she hits a high fly ball deep into left field at the wall, and that is out of here. 2 home runs in the first for the Jags, and they've now matched their hit totals from game 1 with 2 home runs in the top of the first as they take a 2-0 lead over North Georgia. And Paige Patterson's first hit of the day is a home run over the left field wall in the 205 marker. And just like the Nighthawks caught the Jags sleeping in the bottom of the first in game 1, the Jags doing a bit of the same here to North Georgia. So Lauren Evans is up to bat for Augusta. And she takes one down the middle for a strike to make it an 0-1 count. That's now the 7th home run this season that Tybee Denton has allowed. Bit uncharacteristic there from, as we mentioned, one of the top pitchers in not just the Peach Belt Conference, but the nation. 0-2 pitch, a swing and a miss. As that's 2 strikeouts from Tybee Denton, but 2 home runs from the Jags puts them up 2-0 early. We'll see how North Georgia responds in the bottom of the first when we come back. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
To them, the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
Back with you here at Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium for Game 2 of our doubleheader here on the Nighthawk Sports Network between North Georgia and Augusta. Nighthawks came away with a dominant 12-0 win in 5 innings over the Jags about 45 minutes ago. But here come the Jaguars up 2-0 early here in Game 2 after home runs from Puff and Patterson. Solo home runs to give the Jags the early 2-0 lead. Let's see how North Georgia responds here with their go-to leadoff batter, Jolie Lester, stepping back into the batter's box this afternoon. As Lester sees a ball here on her first pitch, seen in Game 2. And this one's going to be inside for strike 1 from Ansley Gibson, who's getting the start in the circle here for the Jags in game number 2. And the 1-1 pitch to Lester. She fouls this one into right, making it a 1-2 count. And it was the combo of multiple hit games from Lester, Mooney, and Ward, along with another shutout from Kristen Davis in the circle that helped propel the Nighthawks to their 14th win in a row in Game 1. Lester had the hot bat going 3 for 4. She grounds this one, stays on the infield, and she continues to stay hot here for North Georgia on her first at bat here in game number 2. Gets a hit, puts a runner on first for Sophie Mooney. Mooney also had multiple hits in game number 1, 2 for 3 at the plate with 2 RBIs, along with 3 runs while she was on base. We mentioned in game 1, Mooney leads the team in batting average this season, batting a whopping .510 so far this season, almost unheard of across softball and baseball. as Mooney's going to take a strike here from Gibson. Gibson this season has posted a 4.36 ERA and in just over 35 innings has allowed 38 hits and 22 runs. She struck out 20 batters in the process while just walking 9. So it's a 2-1 count for Sophie Mooney. And the 2-1 pitch as Lester makes a break for it to second. Gets a stolen base there. Saw many stolen bases in Game 1 for the Nighthawks. So it's a 3-1 count for Mooney. Now with Lester in scoring position. And the 3-1 as Sophie fouls this one deep into left, which pushes the count full. Mooney, a senior out of Lawrenceville, Georgia. And the payoff pitch, swinging a high fly ball again deep into left, but again fouled as that one bounces off the terrace. So Mooney's going to get another crack at it here. Another payoff pitch to Mooney. Another high fly ball deep into left. And again, fouled. So Mooney's keeping this at-bat alive against Gibson. Gibson, a freshman from Evans, Georgia, graduated from Lakeside High School. As she gets the signal. Another payoff pitch to Mooney. This one's going to be fouled near the Jags dugout. Count staying right where it is at 3-2. Another full count pitch to Mooney. Outside for ball 4, and so the patience pays off as North Georgia now has runners on first and second with no outs up on the board, with Georgia Blair back up to bat for North Georgia here this afternoon. Blair went 1 for 2 at the plate. She did not have an RBI in Game 1. She leads the team in RBIs this season with 25. And she takes a ball there. It's a 1-0 count. And the 1-0 pitch. This one's down the middle from Gibson to make it 1-1. Blair also leads the team in home runs this season with 5. As Blair falls to her knees, but runners are going to advance to second and third now for North Georgia, making things a bit easier for Georgia Blair. Counts now 2-1. And the 2-1 pitch. This one's going to cut it close for ball 3. Mariah Wicker's on deck for North Georgia. And the 3-1 pitch. This one's going to be popped up high into the air but fouled, putting the Nighthawks in another full count. Gibson trying to avoid walking her 11th batter of the season to load the bases for North Georgia. Another payoff pitch, as this one's going to be fouled again. So Blair's going to get another opportunity. Got another great crowd on hand here for game 2 as the sun is shining on this Sunday afternoon in the Gold City. Another payoff pitch. Again fouled. This time it goes behind Blair to keep the count full. Gibson gets the signal. Another payoff pitch. And another foul ball from Blair. Keeping this thing at 3-2. With still no outs up on the board. Nighthawks could regain the lead, or take the lead, I should say, here in game 2 with a home run from Blair. Payoff pitch. Yet again, a foul ball. And so back-to-back batters in Mooney and Blair have been battling here with Gibson to open up this game. As Gibson gets the signal. Another payoff pitch. And another foul ball. This time stays on the ground up the left field line. So Georgia Blair is going to see another pitch here from Gibson coming up. Those 25 RBIs from Georgia Blair this season ranks her at 21st in the nation. Another payoff pitch. This one's going to be fouled. This time going right out of play and over the dugout for North Georgia. Count staying at 3-2. And luckily, Blair has Jolie Lester on base. No matter where she's at, she's always a threat to score when she's on base. Averages over a run scored per game this season, which leads the PBC as this ball is hit well into center field and caught as Lester is going to make her way home. And Mooney is also going to try to make her way home. And just like that, we are tied at 2-2 after that sac fly there from Georgia Blair. And the ball gets away from the third baseman for the Jags. And we are all tied up at 2-2. So back up to bat this afternoon is Mariah Wicker. Wicker was 1 for 3 in game 1 as she bunts here up the right field line, and she's going to be safe. A perfectly placed bunt by Mariah Wicker is going to put her on first. And that's been a staple in Mariah's game for as long as I can remember. And she's able to outrun almost all of the bunts that she has. Here comes Katie Ward up to bat, who was great in game 1, went 2 for 4 at the plate. And one of those hits was a home run, the second of her collegiate career as a Nighthawk, and the first home run of her career came actually in the previous game against Emmanuel. She now finds herself in a 1-1 count. And Ward had 4 RBIs off those 2 hits with a 3-shot home run over the center field wall. So it's a 1-2 count for Katie Ward. Still got Mariah Wicker over there on first. And the 1-2 as Mariah Wicker is going to get another stolen base here for North Georgia. And stolen bases have been a common theme for the Nighthawks this season, led by Sophie Mooney, whose stolen base percentage ranks number 1 in the country, of course, because it's perfect. She's yet to be caught stealing this season. 2-2 pitch to Ward. This one's hit deep into left, but fouled. Hits the terrace, moves the count to 2-2. But she's got the speedster, Mariah Wicker, over there on second. If she's able to poke something down in the outfield, should score Wicker. And the 2-2. This one's fouled up the left field line. Count's going to stay put at 2-2. As we mentioned in Game 1, Katie Ward missed some time with injury this season. Great to see her back into the starting lineup for the Nighthawks. And another 2-2 pitch. Outside, and another full count for the Nighthawks here in the bottom of the second. Another payoff pitch. This one's grounded up the left field line. Count's going to stay full. North Georgia would like to thank one of their season sponsors, JSR Heating and Cooling, a family-owned and operated HVAC company specializing in heating, cooling, and air purification of residential and commercial businesses. JSR Heating and Cooling, a proud sponsor of Nighthawk softball. Another payoff pitch to Ward, again fouled up the left field line. It's been a common theme here in game number 2. Nighthawks finding themselves in full counts, but continuing to battle as they've come out on the winning end of these matchups so far with Gibson. And the 3-2. Ward keeps this one in play, and the throw to first is going to get over the head of the first baseman, and Mariah Wicker is going to score with ease as Katie Ward is going to get a double here to get on second, and the Nighthawks take the lead in Game 2, up 3-2 in the bottom of the first. So up to bat is Mallory Parker, still with one out here in the bottom of the first. See if she can extend North Georgia's lead even more. And coming into this afternoon, the Nighthawks had 60 doubles on the season. They're the number 1 ranked team in the country in that category, as they are led by Sophie Mooney, who coming into this afternoon has 11 on the season. It's the second most in the country, averages almost a double per game, and she's just one shy of Lauren Evans for Augusta, who leads the nation with 12 doubles. So 2 of the best players in the nation when it comes to that stat on display for you this afternoon. So it's a 1-1 count for Mallory Parker. Still looking for that first hit this afternoon. 1-1 pitch. This one's going to be left outside and in the dirt, as Ward is going to be able to get to third, take advantage of that. Makes it a 2-1 count for Mallory Parker. As Gibson gets the signal. Here comes the 2-1 pitch to Parker. This one's going to be popped up high into right. Stays shallow, but it's dropped. And so now runners are going to be on second and third. This one got out of the view and ended up dropping in shallow into the infield. So now the Jags are going to have another meeting here in the circle as Coach Brocato comes out to talk things over here with her squad. That's going to go on the board as an error for Augusta. But Ward is going to stay on third, and another double here for the Nighthawks as Lester is able not Lester, Parker, excuse me, is able to make it to second. So the Nighthawks are in the midst of a 14-game winning streak, which is the fourth longest active winning streak in NCAA Division II. Of course, we know North Georgia is no stranger to winning streaks. We saw them last season go on a 38-game winning streak in the middle of the regular season, en route to the program's second national championship. And of course, North Georgia is responsible for the second longest winning streak in the history of NCAA softball. 51 consecutive wins from the 2009 to the 2010 NCAA Division II championship game. The Nighthawks went 369 consecutive days without a loss. And even though that streak came to an end in the final game of the 2010 season, their names are forever etched into the history books with a streak like that. So now Sydney Blair is up to bat here for North Georgia. Seeing her first action this afternoon for the Nighthawks. She's the only change that Coach Davenport made to the starting batting order here in game number 2. Blair, a sophomore out of Peachtree City, Georgia, graduated from Stars Mill High School. And the 2-1 is going to be outside, pushing the count to 3-1. Blair's got 10 hits on the season, batting .303. This is her 34th at-bat. 3-1 pitch. This one's going to be fouled. And yet again, a full count for the Nighthawks, this time with Sydney Blair up to bat. Blair also has 12 runs when she's been on base, 2 RBIs as well, with a .425 on-base percentage. Another payoff pitch, and this one's going to be down the middle as Gibson gets her first strikeout of the game. And so up to bat is Gracie Mixon for the first time here in game number 2. And here we go. We'll see what North Georgia can do here with 2 outs on the scoreboard. Could we be in for another 2-out rally like we saw a lot of in game 1? And the third baseman, Gracie Mixon, went 1 for 2 in game 1. This one's going to be low for ball 2. Mixon has Moody on deck, who rounds out the batting order for the Nighthawks. Still got runners on second and third. 2-0 pitch to Mixon. This one's going to be down the middle from Gibson. Makes it a 2-1 count. So we got a Gibson on Mixon matchup here with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. 2-1 pitch. This one's going to be fouled, pushing the count to 2-2. So deuces are running wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs in the bottom of the first with 2 runners on for North Georgia. And the 2-2. Mixon pops this one up, keeps it in the infield, and a routine play made by Luke is going to take us to the top of the second. But North Georgia takes the lead 3-2 in the bottom of the first. We'll step aside for a short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. back with you here in the Gold City of Dahlonega. Here in game number 2 of our NCAA Division II softball doubleheader between North Georgia and Augusta, 2 Peach Belt Conference teams looking to gain some momentum here in the standings. North Georgia currently has the 3-2 lead as we head to the top of the first, with Candace Winder up to bat as she fouls this one to make it an 0-1 count. Winder, a junior out of Canton, Georgia, transferred from St. John's River Community College, finds herself at a 1-1 count against Denton. Winder seeing her first action this afternoon as she pops this one up into the Jags bullpen to make it a 1-2 count. Winder has posted a .269 batting average this season, 21 hits so far with 12 runs when she's been on base, 7 RBIs, and a home run for Winder as well. 1-2 pitch. This one's going to be, again, fouled, which makes it a 1-2 count still for Winder. Couple of changes to the starting lineup here for Augusta. 1-2 pitch, a swing and a miss as Denton gets her 3rd strikeout this afternoon. And that's going to bring up the designated player, Sophie Baker, up to bat, as she sees a strike from Denton there to make it an 0-1 count. Baker this season has posted a .316 batting average. As she sees ball 1 upstairs from Tybee Denton. Baker still looking for her first hit this afternoon. One's across the board. A swing and a miss is going to make it a 1-2 count. Like we mentioned in game 1, the dynamic duo of Denton and Davis has been the most lethal pair of pitchers in the Peach Belt Conference and one of the best in the nation, as Denton pitches one outside for ball 2. Tybee Denton has already been named the PBC Pitcher of the Week this season, along with Kristen Davis. And Denton's 86 strikeouts this season coming into this afternoon ranks number 6 in NCAA Division II. 2-2 pitch. This one's fouled. So we're going to stay right here at 2-2. And when you look at the PBC website and the statistical categories, Tybee Denton has her name etched all over it, as we're going to have our second out of the second inning. Denton has posted a .76 ERA this season, second in the PBC behind her teammate Kristen Davis, and her .125 batting average that she's held opponents to ranks first in the Peach Belt Conference. So here is Luke, who hits a high fly ball deep into center field, but a routine play is made for the Nighthawks and Mallory Parker, and that's going to take us to the bottom of the second. North Georgia still leads this one 3-2. We'll step aside for a short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
We have a long tradition of athletics at the University of North Georgia. For the past 50 years, our athletic programs have been making a difference for our university And today I'm really excited to talk about how we will take that to the next level. When you think about elite athletics, you think about elite performance. Mary Rob, tell me what that means to you.
So elite performance at the University of North Georgia is unique because we have a value proposition unlike anybody else in this country, where we're able to perform at the highest level because of our connections with our Corps of Cadets and our College of Health Sciences and Professions, coupled with our professionals from coaches, athletic trainers, support staff, and our Department of Athletics, where we're preparing our student athletes to battle on the field of competition, in the classroom, and in our community. We'll be elite in everything we do.
So today we are really excited to announce our strategic bet, where we are going to deliver elite performance, elite competition, and the most value-adding Division II athletic program in America. Go Nighthawks.
Back with you here at Haynes in Carolyn Hill Stadium, where Riley Moody is going to lead things off here for the Nighthawks in the bottom of the second, as she pops this one up high into right. So a quick plate appearance there by Riley Moody is going to give us our first out here in the bottom of the second. Today's second inning is brought to you by Raymond Carolina Handling, a proud supporter of North Georgia softball. A premier material handling solutions provider, Carolina Handling is the exclusive Raymond Solutions and Support Center in the Southeast and a leader in integrative automation systems that help customers move more and at less cost. So that's now two quick outs here for the Nighthawks in the bottom of the second, bringing Sophie Mooney back up to bat. Mooney had a multiple hit game in game one, still looking for that first here in game number two. Was walked on her last plate appearance, as she takes a strike down the middle from Gibson. And Mooney has posted a .603 on-base percentage this season, which ranks 16th in the nation. And she finds herself down 0-2 against Gibson. But Mooney is statistically the toughest player to strike out in the Peach Belt Conference. She fouls this one to keep the count at 0-2. So a tough task here for Gibson. After a couple flyouts here for North Georgia, with 2 outs on the board, see if Sophie Mooney can keep this inning alive here for North Georgia. And the 0-2. It's going to be upstairs for ball one. Again, as we mentioned in the bottom of the first, Coach Davenport not making any changes really to his starting lineup, with the exception of Sydney Blair now in there for Caitlin Johnson. Now it's a 2-2 count for Sophie Mooney. Deuces are running wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs in the bottom of the second. And the 2-2 to Mooney. A swing there. It's going to give us out number 3. So a quick 3 up, 3 down for the Jags. It's going to take us to the third. North Georgia still leads this one 3-2. We'll see if the Jags can tie this one up or take the lead when we come back. You're watching North Georgia softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Welcome back to Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium on a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Dahlonega, Georgia. North Georgia leads this one 3-2 over Augusta here in game 2 of our doubleheader, as this is going to be fouled by Hayden Pearson, who's leading things off here for the Jags in the top of the 3rd inning. Pearson, a freshman utility player for the Jags out of Oxford, Georgia, graduated from Newton High School. She takes one down the middle from Denton for strike 2. And with 4 strikeouts this afternoon from Tybee, she now has 90 this season. 0-2 pitch from Tybee Denton is going to be upstairs to make it a 1-2 count. And Pearson had one of the Jags' 2 hits in game number 1. As this is going to be outside, which makes it 2-2. And the 2-2 pitch. This one's going to be hit high into center field. Parker is there to make the routine play for out number 1. Bryan Properties is a commercial real estate brokerage firm serving Northeast Georgia and presenting today's 3rd inning. Located in nearby Cumming, Georgia, Bryan Properties specializes in commercial real estate along the Georgia 400 corridor. For more information on Bryan Properties, visit bryanproperties.net. So the Jags return to the top of their batting order with Bobby Poff up to bat as she sees a strike there from Tybee Denton. And Poff, last time she was up to bat, had that solo home run to get things going here for Augusta to give them an early lead in the top of the 1st. And then Patterson followed that up with a home run of her own to give the Jaguars an early 2-0 lead. The Nighthawks regained that lead in the bottom of the 1st, now up 3-2. And Poff swings hard on that one and misses for strike 2. Poff, a sophomore out of Perry, Georgia. As we mentioned earlier, one of the transfers on this squad from Valdosta State University, as Denton picks up strikeout number 5. So Lauren Slade is back up to bat here for Augusta, batting .273 on the season. Looking for her first hit this afternoon. Another swing and a miss. Denton's dealing here, makes it an 0-1 count. And the 0-1. This one's going to be fouled and out of play. Makes it an 0-2 count. Augusta making the 157-mile trip up north to the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. About a 3-hour drive between Dahlonega and Augusta. This one's going to be tipped. And it's going to be strikeout number 6 this afternoon from Denton, who is dealing here in the 3rd. It's going to take us to the bottom of the 3rd. We'll see if North Georgia can extend that 3-2 lead when we come back from this short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
So if you could buy your next vehicle without going to the dealership, now you can with Beaver Direct. It's fast and really simple. Log into beavertoyotacumming.com, click on Beaver Direct, quietly shop from hundreds of vehicles, obtain a credit approval and trade appraisal.
Back with you here on the Nighthawk Sports Network in Game 2 of our doubleheader between the number 1 ranked team in the nation, North Georgia Nighthawks, taking on the Augusta University Jaguars in this best-of-3 PBC series. Georgia Blair is back up to bat here for North Georgia. Georgia Blair, one of the best players in the nation at racking up RBIs. Looking for her first hit here in game number 2. She fouls this one off of Gibson to make it an 0-1 count. This game has been a lot closer than what we saw in game number 1. The Nighthawks blew that one open early, going up 7-0 in the second. And then from there on out, it was just all North Georgia, ending in a 12-0 shutout victory for the Nighthawks in 5 innings. And as we mentioned earlier, Georgia Blair leads the team in home runs this season with 5. The 0-2. Upstairs for ball 1. Blair's got Mariah Wicker on deck. Blair had a sac fly last time she was up to bat. Scored a run. She pops this one up high into shallow left. And that's going to be caught for out number 1 by Pearson. So here comes Mariah Wicker stepping back into the batter's box for the Nighthawks. A fan favorite here amongst the Nighthawk faithful. She has her routine wave to the crowd every time she goes to get the starting lineups from Coach Davenport during the home plate meeting before the games. And Wicker already has a hit here in game number 2. Looking to stay perfect here on her second plate appearance. 1-0 is going to be outside from Gibson to make it a 2-0 count. Gibson so far has allowed 2 hits and 3 runs. All those runs earned from the Nighthawks. She struck out 2 batters as well, as Wicker sees a strike there from Gibson to make it a 2-1 count. And the 2-1 pitch to Mariah. A swing here. This one may have been tipped, but it's going to be a 2-2 count. And historically, this matchup has been all about North Georgia. The Nighthawks are 40-5 all time against Augusta and a perfect 29 at home against the Jags. 2-2 pitch to Mariah. She grounds this one into center field, and Mariah Wicker stays perfect here in game 2, 2 for 2 on her 2 plate appearances here in the second game of our doubleheader. So up to bat now is Katie Ward with 1 out up on the scoreboard. As Ward sees a strike there from Gibson to make it an 0-1 count. So we were just talking about North Georgia being a perfect 29-0 at home against the Jags. The last time the Jaguars were victorious over the Nighthawks was March 9th, 2013, almost 11 years ago to the date, back when Augusta University was still named Georgia Regents University. The Jaguars took a 3-0 win over the Nighthawks, being the only time that Augusta has shut out North Georgia in their 5 wins over the Nighthawks. And the 0-2, this one's going to be fouled. So the count's going to stay where it is for Katie Ward, who, as we mentioned earlier, had a great game one, went 2 for 4 with a 3-run bomb over the center field wall. As Ward steps back out of the box. And the 0-2 to Katie. She fouls this one near the Jags dugout. So the count's still going to stay at 0-2. Another 0-2 pitch to Katie Ward. It's going to be upstairs for ball 1. You could tell Mariah Wicker over there on first is looking to get another stolen base this afternoon. And the 1-2, this one's hit directly to the third baseman as the Jags make the double play, something that's been a staple for them all season long. And that's going to take us to the 4th. North Georgia still leads this one 3-2. We'll step aside for a short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
Northeast Georgia Health System is a proud supporter of North Georgia Nighthawk Athletics.
Back with you here on the Nighthawk Sports Network in Game 2 of our doubleheader between the number 1 ranked team in the nation, North Georgia softball, taking on Augusta University in a close 3-2 game that sees North Georgia up by a run. So leading things off here in the 4th, it's going to be Roberts, who sees a ball there in the dirt from Tybee Denton. Roberts was struck out by Denton last time she was up to bat, one of 6 strikeouts for Tybee Denton this afternoon. So it's a 2-0 count for Roberts. As Tybee gets a signal, 2-0 pitch. This one's grounded to Moody. Moody picks it up, throws to Mooney, and the Moody to Mooney connection gives us out number 1 here in the top of the 4th. So that's going to bring Paige Patterson back up to bat, who, as we mentioned, had a home run last time she was up to bat. Her first hit of the afternoon was that home run to give the Jags a 2-0 lead in the top of the 1st. We'll see if she can remain perfect here in game number 2. Patterson, a sophomore from Woodstock, Georgia, transferred to Augusta from the University of Mississippi. And the 2-0, this one's hit deep into center field, and this one is getting over as Paige Patterson has been lethal here in game 2. Back-to-back home runs from Patterson ties this game up at 3-all. So Patterson has been the MVP here for the Jags this afternoon. And we are all tied up at 3-all as Paige Patterson sends one over the 220 marker. So now up to bat is Lauren Evans. We'll see if she can continue the momentum that Patterson has set. Evans looking for her first hit this afternoon. She was struck out by Denton last time she was up to bat. We mentioned earlier, Lauren Evans has been one of the best batters in the Peach Belt Conference when it comes to doubles, leads the nation with 12 this season. Coming into this afternoon, we'll see how those standings pan out after today, because she has Sophie Mooney on her trail, ranking second in the nation in doubles. So it's a 1-2 count for Sales. And the 1-2 from Tybee. This one's going to be fouled. So the count's going to stay where it is at 1-2. We mentioned how good Evans has been at securing doubles this season. Augusta, as a whole, has been fantastic at racking up doubles. Not going to get another opportunity here, as Denton, though, picks up strikeout number 7 on the nation's leader in doubles. And Augusta, coming into this afternoon, has 47 doubles, ranking second in the PBC behind North Georgia and 7th in the nation. So it's now a 1-0 count for Candace Winder, the right fielder for the Jags, back up to bat. Hits this one high and deep into center field. Parker is there to make the routine play for out number 3. But we are all tied up at 3-3 as we head to the 5th. We'll see what North Georgia can do here and see if they can regain the lead once we come back. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want with NCAA.com, the home of college sports.
Back with you here at Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium in the bottom of the 4th inning in this matchup between the Nighthawks and the Jaguars here in Game 2 of our doubleheader. And this one's all tied up at 3 apiece after Paige Patterson hit her 2nd home run here in Game number 2 to tie this one all up at 3 even. We'll see if Mallory Parker has something to say about that, as the senior from Kennesaw is back up to bat for North Georgia. Parker's still looking for that first hit this afternoon, as she tips this one fouled. So it's going to be an 0-1 count for Mallory Parker. Parker's made some routine plays for the Nighthawks in center field. Had that catch just before the commercial break to bring us to where we are right now with her up to bat, as she sees one outside from Gibson to make it a 1-1 count. Looks like that one could have gone either way. Jags fans here wanted that to be a strike. 1-1 pitch to Parker. She fouls this one up the right field line to make it a 1-2 count. Parker, another senior staple in this Nighthawk lineup. One of multiple seniors on the roster. Shows bunt here, pulls it back, takes one upstairs for ball 2. And Parker this season has been batting .407. She has 22 hits with 12 RBIs and 2 home runs. And one of those home runs came about a week and a half ago Was an inside the park home run from Mallory Parker. And the payoff pitch to Parker. This one's going to be fouled. So the count's going to stay full. And so far, Gibson has kept these Nighthawks bats quiet. Just 3 hits for the Nighthawks so far. As Parker hits this one right back to Gibson. Gibson will throw to first to get the ball there on time for out number 1. And so up to bat is number 12, Sydney Blair. Blair this season batting .303, looking for her 11th hit of the season here. She's got 2 RBIs and a .425 on-base percentage as Gibson again corrals that one in. 2 quick outs here for the Nighthawks. We'll see if Gracie Mixon can keep this inning alive as she steps back into the batter's box. Mixon had a hit in game 1, went 1 for 2 at the plate. Still looking for her first hit here in game 2. We'll see if she can start a 2-out rally for the Nighthawks. And she takes a ball there from Gibson. And the 1-0, this one's hit well into left, and that's going to drop out the wall as Mixon makes her way for 2 and keeps this inning alive for North Georgia. And so up to bat now is Riley Moody, who gets the signal from Coach Davenport. As Riley Moody, the shortstop, tries to get her first hit this afternoon with Mixon over there on second. Tied ball game. This one's going to be low from Gibson to make it a 1-0 count. Nighthawks now have 4 hits in this one. After that double from Gracie Mixon. As Moody hits this one deep into left, and that's going to hit the wall. And here come the Hawks. Just like that, Riley Moody ties it up. Or the North Georgia, takes the lead 4-3 after we were just tied up at 3-all. Moody gives the Nighthawks a 4-3 lead here in the bottom of the 4th. Nighthawks return to the top of their batting order with Jolie Lester. The Nighthawks lead off batter as Lester grounds this one to the second baseman. Throw to first, gets there on time as Evans made the catch. But North Georgia takes the lead 4-3 as we head to the 5th. We'll step aside for a short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. North Georgia Softball would like to thank today's 5th inning sponsor, Bees Bales, a leader in agricultural production in Cherokee County. So we've got a 4-3 ball game here at Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium between North Georgia and Augusta. The Nighthawks regained the lead after Riley Moody was able to secure her first hit of the afternoon to score Gracie Mixon. So we'll see how the Jags answer here with Baker back up to bat. She takes a strike there from Tybee Denton, who, as we mentioned earlier, one of the leaders in the nation in strikeouts, already with 93 this season. She's got 7 already this afternoon. So it's an 0-2 count for Sophie Baker, who was struck out by Denton last time she was up to bat. As Denton gets a signal, the 0-2 pitch. It's going to be right and outside for ball 1. The Nighthawks were able to close things out in game 1 in the top of the 5th. Won't be able to do so here. Only up by a run over the Jags, as this one's going to be fouled. So the count's going to stay at 1-2 for Augusta. And coming into this afternoon, the Nighthawks have been on a roll. Now 14 straight wins. They're coming off of a doubleheader victories over the Lions of Emmanuel. They won game 1 11-4 and game 2 11-0 in 5 innings. And in game 1, not a single UNG hitter had more than 1 hit, but 9 different hitters recorded a hit, and 4 of them batted multiple runs in to contribute to that 11-4 victory. We also had a couple of first career home runs for North Georgia against Emmanuel, including Katie Ward and Chloe Poss. As Denton walks her first batter this afternoon, and that's going to put a runner over there on first in Baker. And that's going to bring Aaliyah Luke up to bat, the third baseman for the Jags. It looks like Augusta may be making a pinch running substitution here. So now over there on first for Augusta is going to be number 9, Lauren Slade, a junior out of Groveton, Georgia, graduated from Augusta Christian School. As this pitch from Denton is going to be upstairs for a ball. Luke this season has posted a 188 batting average. She's 12 for 64 at the plate coming into this afternoon with 8 RBIs. Shows bunt here and pulls back. That's going to be down the middle from Denton for strike 1. And the 1-1 pitch. And the bunt here stays in play. Throw to first, gets there on time. But that sack bunt from Luke is going to put a runner on second for the Jags with just 1 out here in the top of the 4th. So here comes Hayden Pearson, who rounds out the batting order for the Jags. Pearson had a fly out last time she was up to bat, looking for something different here. As the wind has started to come in here at Lynn Cottrell Park. Moving from right to left. And the 0-1 pitch. Going to be outside for a ball. So 1's across the scoreboard. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out. 1 runner on for the Jags with number 1 up to bat. And the 1-1 pitch. This one's going to be fouled behind the stands here. Makes it a 1-2 count for Pearson. Jags have kept this game much closer than we saw in game 1. This one's going to be fouled and out of play. Keeps the count at 1-2. And whatever Coach Bricado had to say to her team in the 30 minutes between games 1 and 2 seemed to work, as the Jags are within 1 run of the number 1 ranked team in the nation. And the 1-2 pitch. This one's going to be in the dirt. That one bounces off the mask of Georgia Blair. So now that's going to put a runner in scoring position for Pearson. And Coach Davenport's going to come out to the circle to talk things over here with his superstar pitcher. North Georgia softball trying to follow in the footsteps of the success we've seen from a lot of teams from North Georgia this weekend. As we mentioned in Game 1, North Georgia men's basketball has done something that no other UNG men's basketball team has ever done before, as they won the Peach Belt Conference Tournament for the first time in program history yesterday with a 70-60 win over Flagler. So a big congratulations to Coach Evans and the coaching staff, along with all the players, as they look to make a run in the PBC or beyond the PBC tournament in the NCAA Regional, Southeast Regional Tournament. Meanwhile, Tybee Denton picks up yet another strikeout to give us 2 outs here, as the Jags return to the top of the batting order with Bobby Poff, who's 1 for 2 today. That 1 hit was a home run on her first at-bat. A swing and a miss, though, is going to give us strike 1. And the 0-1 pitch, tipped and fouled. And it's now a quick 0-2 count for Poff. So a big out here for Tybee Denton. Able to strike out the leadoff batter and leave a runner stranded on third. And the 0-2 pitch from Denton. It's going to be high for ball 1. And a swing and a miss. Denton dealing here with strikeout number 9. And that's going to take us to the bottom of the 5th. North Georgia still leads this one by a run, up 4-3 over the Jags. We'll step aside for a short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Back with you here on the Nighthawk Sports Network in a 1-run game between North Georgia and Augusta here in Game 2 of our doubleheader in this PBC series. Speaking of the Peach Belt Conference, it's been a busy day this Sunday afternoon for PBC teams. North Georgia, of course, taking on Augusta in their doubleheader. GCSU taking on Francis Marion in a doubleheader of their own. And USC Beaufort taking on USC Aiken in a doubleheader. The Pacers won game 1 4-1. So all of our game 2s are in action around the Peach Belt Conference. Here is Sophie Mooney up to bat for North Georgia. She hits a high fly ball deep into left, and that's going to be caught for a quick out here in the bottom of the 5th. Nighthawks bats have started to cool down here in game number 2. We'll see if Georgia Blair can light them back up. Here, she's still looking for her first hit of the day. She does have an RBI off of a sac fly. Nighthawks were able to put a run up on the board in the bottom of the 4th. See if they can follow suit here. They put 3 runs up in the bottom of the 1st, but were held scoreless in the 2nd and the 3rd. And the 0-1 pitch to Blair fouls this one out of play to make it an 0-2 count. As Gibson gets the signal, the 0-2 pitch going to be well upstairs for ball 1. Nighthawks have Mariah Wicker on deck, who's seen the most success here in game 2, 2 for 2 at the plate. And the 1-2 pitch to Blair. Blair keeps this one fair up the left field line, and Georgia Blair is going to stop in her tracks at first. But Georgia Blair's first hit here in game number 2 is going to put a runner on first with Mariah Wicker up to bat. And it looks like Coach Davenport's going to have a pinch runner over there on first. And this is going to be Caroline Branch over there on first for the Nighthawks, pinch running for Coach Davenport and North Georgia. Branch, a sophomore outfielder out of Bogart, Georgia, graduated from North Oconee High School. Saw her do some pinch running for the Nighthawks in game number 1. Was able to score a run while she was on base. See if she can do so here with the hot bat, Mariah Wicker, back in the batter's box. As she sees a ball there from Gibson, who's seen the most success out of any pitcher for the Jags this afternoon. And the 1-0 pitch to Mariah takes one just outside for ball 2. Counts now 2-0 for Mariah Wicker. Gibson gets the signal. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Outside as Branch makes her way to second, and another stolen base here for North Georgia. Puts a runner in scoring position for Mariah Wicker, up 3-0 in the count. And the 3-0 pitch to Mariah. Left outside for ball 4. And so that's going to put runners on first and second with Katie Ward back up to bat. And from last season to this season, we've seen a definite increase in play for Katie Ward. And she's been terrific for the Nighthawks so far this season. So expect to hear her name a lot this year and in the coming years for North Georgia. Sophomore out of Marietta, Georgia, graduated from Pope High School. 0-1. It's going to be outside. It's now a 1-1 count for Katie Ward. Ward's batting .455 this season. Coming into this afternoon, takes ball 2 from Gibson. Ward had a home run in game 1, a 3-run bomb to blow the game open for North Georgia. And she now has back-to-back games with home runs for the Nighthawks, including game 2 against Emmanuel and game 1 about 2 hours ago. And the 3-1 pitch. This one's going to be in the dirt for ball 4. And the bases are loaded here for North Georgia with Mallory Parker, the backup to bat. And the Jags, realizing this, have Coach Brocato come out to the circle to talk things over here with her squad. Got a couple pitchers warming up in the bullpen for Augusta. Doesn't look like they're going to make a pitching substitution here. As we mentioned, Gibson has played well for the Jags so far in this one. Done about all that she can going up against the number 1 ranked team in the nation. Gibson, in a little over 4 innings, has allowed 6 hits, 4 runs. All 4 of those runs from North Georgia have been earned. She's walked 3 batters and struck out 2. But the Jags find themselves in a bit of a pickle here with the bases loaded and Parker back up to bat. And Mallory Parker's first hit of the afternoon would be big if it came here with the bases loaded. As this pitch from Gibson is going to be low for a ball. So it's a 1-0 count, just 1 out on the scoreboard. And the 1-0 pitch as Parker grounds this one into right field, and here come the Hawks as Mallory Parker is going to score 2 runs and make that 3 runs as Mallory Parker gets 3 RBIs up on the board and a double to give North Georgia a 7-3 lead. So 3 runs in the bottom of the 5th and 3 runs in the bottom of the 1st gives North Georgia a commanding lead over the Jags now. And just like that, this game can change in an instant. Mallory Parker showing it there with the bases loaded. Did almost everything she could there, scoring all runners on base. So now we could potentially have a pitching substitution here for the Jags. And it looks like this is going to be the end of the afternoon for Gibson, who has played well. Unfortunately, Mallory Parker got the best of her there, as she's allowed 7 runs in this game. So now the Jags are going to make a pitching substitution here. And stepping on for Augusta University is going to be number 23, Alyssa Bollinger, the junior out of Palmetto, Georgia, transferred from Ave Maria University. Is going to step into the circle for Gibson, try to close this one out for the Jags. We saw Bollinger in game 1 come in relief for number 22, Madeline Spinks. So this is her second appearance this afternoon for the Jags. As the Jags have now gone through 3 of their 5 pitchers in their bullpen this afternoon. So now we'll see if Bollinger can close things out here for Augusta, who just like that find themselves down 4 runs. And it looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter in for the Nighthawks, and it's number 3, Grayson Perry, a junior out of Monroe, Georgia, graduated from Walnut Grove High School, is now in the batter's box for North Georgia. This is Perry's 23 at-bat of the season. She's been batting .364 with 8 hits so far and 2 RBIs. She has a home run this season as well. And the tag at third is not going to get there on time, as Parker is now in scoring position for Grayson Perry, who finds herself in an 0-1 count. And the 0-1 pitch to Perry is going to be upstairs for ball 1. And the 1-1 pitch as Perry grounds this one into center field, as Grayson Perry is going to score a run for North Georgia as Parker is able to make her way home. And the Nighthawks go up 5 over the Jags here in the bottom of the 5th. So a 4-run inning here for North Georgia. Here in the bottom of the 5th inning, sees them starting to run away with it, as Grayson Perry keeps this thing going. And Sydney Blair is going to pinch run for the Nighthawks over there on first. And Gracie Mixon is going to step back into the batter's box for the Nighthawks. Mixon had a hit on her last at-bat. She's 1 for 2 here in game 2. Takes a strike to make it an 0-1 count. And the 0-1 pitch. This one's going to be popped up over to first base, and it's going to be caught by Evans for out number 2. And so here comes Riley Moody back up to bat, the shortstop, who's 1 for 2 here in game 2. Had her first hit of the afternoon last time she was up to bat to give North Georgia a 4-3 lead. We'll see if she can get her second consecutive hit here on her third at-bat of game 2. And the Nighthawks bats that started out quiet here in game 2 have come alive. And now all but 3 batters in the starting lineup for North Georgia have a hit. Swinging a high fly ball deep into left, and that one is gone. Riley Moody sends one out of here, and North Georgia starting to run away with this one, up 10-0, as Moody sends a shot to the 220 marker, and just like that, North Georgia goes up 7, up 10-3 over the Jags. And that ball was absolutely crushed by Riley Moody. So that's going to bring Jolie Lester back up to bat. And like we talked about in game 1, should just put 2 outs up on the scoreboard for the Nighthawks just to start the inning, because that's where they thrive the most. As Lester takes a ball outside to make it a 1-0 count. And that home run from Riley Moody, her first of the season and her first in a Nighthawk uniform. So congrats to Riley Moody for getting her first home run of the season. Hopefully more to come from the junior shortstop. This one's going to be inside to Lester to make it a 1-2 count. And now the Nighthawks up 7. A home run from Lester could potentially end the game. Takes ball 2 upstairs. So deuces are running wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. And the 2-2 pitch. This one's going to be fouled into the turf. So the count's going to stay at 2-2. The Nighthawks putting together one of their best innings this afternoon. 6 runs here in the 5th. 2-2 pitch to Lester. Fouls this one, so we're going to stay put at a 2-2 count. And the 2-2 pitch. This one's going to be hit into left. And Jolie Lester pokes one out in familiar territory in left field to keep this one going for North Georgia. The Nighthawks have 10 runs up on the board and 10 hits in this one. And with a runner on first and 2 outs, Sophie Mooney steps back up to bat here for North Georgia. Mooney's been held without a hit here in game number 2. Had multiple hits in game 1. And a home run from Mooney could end it. 1-0 pitch. Going to be outside for ball 2. Still got Jolie Lester over there on first. 2-0 pitch to Mooney. It's going to cut it close for ball 3. And a sticky situation here for the Jags. With Mooney up 3-0 and the team's RBI leader in Georgia Blair on deck. We've seen Sophie Mooney end a game with a home run earlier this season. Can she do it again here, up 3-0? Decides not to swing on this one, but sees a strike right down the middle from Bollinger to make it a 3-1 count. And this one's going to hit Mooney. She's one of the leaders in the Peach Belt Conference in being hit by pitch. Sees another one there. And that's going to put runners on first and second. And it looks like we're going to have a pinch runner over there on first for the Nighthawks. And it's going to be number 25, Madison Cosgrove. Cosgrove, a sophomore out of Columbus, Georgia. Graduated from Northside High School. We saw her do some pinch running in game 1. Also saw her step up to bat in game number 1. But Coach Davenport puts a speedster over there on first. And the Jags are going to talk things over now in the circle. Who have unfortunately let this game slip away here in this bottom of the 5th. They'll try to extend this game even further. They're able to get the out here on Georgia Blair. Blair's 1 for 2 today. She does have an RBI off of a sac fly. Had that hit last time she was up to bat. So after the Jags talk things over here, Georgia Blair will step back into the batter's box. and could potentially seal the deal here for North Georgia. This one's going to be outside for ball 1. And the 1-0 pitch to Blair. This one's down the middle for a strike to make it a 1-1 count. The Nighthawks also have Mariah Wicker on deck. 1-1 pitch to Blair. This one just outside for a ball to make it a 2-1 count. And the 2-1 pitch to Blair fouls this one. And just like that, Deuces are running wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. 2 runners on for North Georgia here in the bottom of the 5th. Get the double P signs from the home plate ump. And the 2-2 to Blair. This one's going to cut it close for ball 3. Count runs full. Biggest pitch of the afternoon coming up here for Ballinger. And the payoff pitch. This one's going to be fouled over the dugout for the Jags. So we're going to stay at a full count. And the payoff pitch. This one's going to be popped up and fouled. And at the net, it's going to be caught. But it looks like we're going to stay at 2 outs here as the umps are going to talk things over. So I believe that was Patterson who made the play at the net. She was able to catch it. She did have her body up against the net here behind home plate. So they are going to call it a foul ball, and Georgia Blair is going to get another crack at it here. So a big call there from the umps keeps us at a full count with 2 outs for Georgia Blair here in the bottom of the 5th. And another payoff pitch, a swing and a miss there from Georgia Blair. That's going to bring us to the 6th, but North Georgia starting to run away with it. A 6-run inning from the Nighthawks in the bottom of the 5th sees them up 10-3. We'll see how the Jags respond when we come back. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Back with you here at Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium at Lynn Cottrell Park in the Gold City of Dahlonega as we head to the top of the 6th inning in Game 2 of our doubleheader between the number 1 ranked team in the nation, North Georgia Nighthawks, taking on the Augusta University Jaguars. Jags looking to even the series at 1-1. North Georgia looking for the series win here after a 12-0 shutout in 5 innings in game number 1. So Bailey Roberts is on deck. Meanwhile, Up to bat. Slade pops this one up, and she's going to be out as Mooney made the grab for out number 1. So the shortstop, Bailey Roberts, looking for her first hit here in Game 2, was struck out and grounded out on her 2 plate appearances this afternoon. She takes a ball there from Tybee Denton. And the 1-0 pitch. This one's going to be in the dirt for ball 2. After a bit of shuffling to the schedule due to some rain up here in North Georgia, we finally get the series between these two Peach Belt Conference squad. A series that was originally slated to start Friday with a doubleheader yesterday to wrap up the series has now shifted to a doubleheader today with the series finale playing out tomorrow at noon. And the 2-1 pitch. This one's going to be upstairs from Denton to make it a 3-1 count. Like we mentioned earlier, this matchup has historically favored North Georgia, who are a perfect 29 at home all time against the Jaguars, and now 40-5 after their win in Game 1, as this one gets passed and into right field as Mariah Wicker is unable to make the throw to first in time. So now that's going to put a runner on first for the Jags. And the hot bat, Paige Patterson, back up to bat for Augusta, who's 2 for 2 today. Both of those hits here in Game 2 have been home runs. And after being held without a hit in Game 1, she's been the player here for the Jags that they've been going to here in Game number 2. So the 1-1 pitch to Patterson. She grounds this one into left field, and she's a perfect 3 for 3 on the day. Doesn't get a home run there, but doesn't matter. She's still, as we mentioned, 3 for 3, and assistant coach Aaliyah Medina is going to come out to the circle to talk things over here with Tybee, who's allowed 5 hits in this one. And Patterson has seen a lot of success against Denton so far in this game, as she is responsible for 3 of the 5 hits for the Jags in this game. Up to bat now is Lauren Evans, who's looking for her first hit here in Game number 2. Evans has been struck out on her 2 at-bats by Tybee, as she takes a ball there to make it a 1-0 count with 1 out on the scoreboard and 2 runners on for the Jags. This one's going to be fouled into left to make it a 1-1 count. We mentioned earlier that Tybee has her name all over the Peach Belt Conference website when it comes to ranking in the top 10 in statistics. And she ranks in 10 different stats in the top 10. This one's going to be popped up to Mallory Parker. It's going to keep runners on first and second for the Jags. So Candace Winder steps back into the batter's box, who also is looking for her first hit of the day. She had a fly out, and she struck out in her 2 plate appearances here in Game number 2. Still 2 runners on for the Jags as She swings and misses on this pitch from Tybee to make it an 0-1 count. And the 0-1 pitch cuts it inside. Now a quick 0-2 count. Denton, the senior, out of Homer, Georgia, trying to leave runners stranded on first and second. This one's going to be fouled, so the count's going to stay at 0-2. Denton had a career-high 15 strikeouts against Lenore Ryan back on February 17th. Has contributed to her 90-plus strikeouts this season. So it's a 1-2 count for Candace. And the 1-2, this one's going to be fouled, so we're going to be staying put at a 1-2 count as this one's fouled near Bob Stein Stadium. Speaking of the Steiner, North Georgia baseball is looking for the series sweep over Claflin. As North Georgia baseball is playing on the road this afternoon. Meanwhile, this one's going to be fouled by Candace, so she's going to stay alive here in a 1-2 count. And the 1-2 pitch. This one's going to be low and in the dirt for a ball, but the throw to first is going to get away from Sophie Mooney, and that's going to put runners on the corners now for the Jags. So again, deuces are running wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs with 2 runners on base for the Jags. Get the double P signs from the home plate up. We're ready to roll. As Denton gets the signal, 2-2 pitch. This one's going to be fouled. So this plate appearance is going to roll on here. As Winder is battling here with Denton. Still 2-2 count. And the pitch from Denton. This one's going to be popped up into center field. Parker is there to make the routine play, and the Nighthawks leave runners stranded on the corners for the Jags. Keep them off the scoreboard in that inning, and the Nighthawks still lead this one 10-3. We'll see if they can close things out when we return. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Welcome back, everybody, to the Nighthawk Sports Network, where we've got Game 2 of our doubleheader between the Nighthawks and the Jaguars. And North Georgia holds a commanding 10-3 lead over Augusta. Here, we'll see if they can put things away here with Mariah Wicker leading things off here for the Nighthawks in the bottom of the 6th. And Mariah Wicker is perfect here in Game 2, 2 for 2 at the plate. She's been walked once. She's also scored 2 runs while she's been on base. And a home run from Mariah Wicker could potentially end it. She bunts here, but it's going to be fouled to make it an 0-1 count. And bunts have been a staple in Mariah Wicker's game. Whether they're sack bunts or bunts to get herself on base, she's typically able to outrun most of her bunts. We saw her do that earlier this afternoon after a perfectly placed bunt up the right field line as Mariah takes ball one upstairs. As we mentioned earlier, the Nighthawks are coming off a doubleheader win against Emmanuel back here at home on Thursday. And the Jaguars are coming off a doubleheader, splitting wins with Catawba College, a team that has handed North Georgia one of their 2 losses this season during the Captain D's Surf and Turf Classic. As Wicker keeps this one fair, and the speedster is going to be safe at first. Mariah Wicker showing off why she's one of the best players when it comes to speed in the Peach Belt Conference. One of the quickest players that you will see is able to get to first. And Katie Ward is now up to bat for North Georgia. Katie sees a strike there from Bollinger. Still looking for that first hit in game 2 here for Katie. 0 for 2. Takes a ball to push the count to 1-1. And the 1-1 pitch to Ward as Mariah Wicker is going to slide into second, and she is safe. Making things a bit easier here for Katie Ward, who's in a 1-2 count, with Mariah in scoring position over there on second if she's able to get something down in the outfield. And the 1-2 pitch to Katie Ward. And this is going to be corralled in over there at third. And so Ward's going to be out at first. That's going to keep Mariah over there on second with 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. Here comes Mallory Parker back up to bat. And Parker had her biggest hit of the afternoon last time she was up to bat. Her first run of the afternoon, but it scored 3 runs. A big swing there, but a miss from Mallory is going to make it an 0-1 count. And the 0-1 pitch to Parker, left outside for ball 1. So 1's across the scoreboard, 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out. And the 1-1 pitch to Parker, going to be low for ball 2. In the same situation that Katie Ward was in, Mallory Parker finds herself in as well. If she's able to get something down in the outfield, it's almost sure to score Mariah Wicker. And the 2-1 pitch, another big swing there from Parker, but a miss. It's going to push the count to 2-2 for number 2. Get the double peace signs from the home plate ump. Parker shows bunt. Pulls it back. Keeps this one in the infield. The throw to first is going to get there on time. But that's going to put Mariah Wicker on third with 2 outs. So an interesting situation here for the Nighthawks. Could potentially end it here with Sydney Blair back up to bat. As Blair takes ball 1. And now surely, if she's able to get something down in the outfield, guaranteed to score Mariah Wicker. 1-0 pitch. as Blair pops this one up into left, but a routine play for the Jags is going to give us out number 3 and take us to the top of the 7th. North Georgia still leads this one 10-3. We'll see if Tybee Denton and the Nighthawks can close things out when we return. You're watching North Georgia softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
My name is Lana Titterina, and UNG is where I lead. I chose UNG because of the tennis program and how much the tennis program has achieved in the past. And I wanted to be a part of building a good team. But also the campus is very beautiful, the location. It has the new business building that I really like, and when I did my research, I really liked Dahlonega in Georgia. So one of the biggest challenges that I faced was coming here and not knowing anyone. I didn't know how the culture was and how to really approach people. And being new and not knowing anyone can be tough in the beginning. So you have to really put yourself out there and make connections, talk to people.
Back with you here at Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium in the top of the 7th as North Georgia is looking to secure the series win over the Jaguars here if they're able to close things out in the top of the 7th. Up 7 runs on the Jags as Augusta looks to mount a comeback here late. So it's a 1-1 count with Grace Bridges up to bat. This is Bridges' first appearance at the plate, and a great grab there by Riley Moody. The shortstop gives us out number 1 in the top of the 7th. She's able to track that one down. Ball falls right into her glove, and this is going to be the end of the afternoon here for Tybee Denton. She finishes up this game with 9 strikeouts in just over 6 innings. She's allowed 5 hits and 3 runs, all of those runs earned. And so Tybee putting together, again, a great game for the Nighthawks. Is going to step off, and Aniston Wright is going to step into the circle for North Georgia, who came in relief for Kristen Davis in game number 1 and close things out for the Nighthawks. We'll see if she can do so here in a closing situation. Aniston, a junior out of Sonoya, Georgia, graduated from East Coweta High School. And she's going to have to go up against Aaliyah Luke in her first matchup here in game number 2. No runners on for the Jags. A big swing there from Luke, but a miss. It's going to make it an 0-1 count. We saw Aniston pick up a strikeout when she was pitching in game 1. We'll see if she can get another one here. But that one's going to be right and outside for ball 1. Wright this season has posted a 4.94 ERA in just over 11 innings. She's allowed 15 hits and 8 runs. She has 4 strikeouts this season as well. Now it's a 1-2 count for Luke. As Georgia Blair is going to come out to the circle to talk things over here with Wright. We saw in a documentary for North Georgia softball that was recapping their journey to the 2023 National Championship. We saw in that documentary Sophie Mooney praise Aniston Wright and the job that she did stepping up big for North Georgia in the middle of their season. She stepped up big for them after a couple of losses that the Nighthawks picked up to Columbus State in the middle of the year. Aniston Wright came in clutch for the Nighthawks. A 2-2 count. This one's going to be low for ball 3. As we mentioned in game 1, North Georgia keeps their bullpen intact from the 2023 National Championship run with Kristen Davis, Tybee Denton, Sophie Mooney, Delaney Heberlin, and Aniston Wright. One of the most experienced bullpens that you will find in not just the Peach Belt Conference, but in the country. Payoff pitch. This one's going to be tipped and fouled by Luke. So the count's going to stay where it is at 3-2. North Georgia looking to secure their 15th win in a row. Payoff pitch. This one's going to be outside for ball number 4. So that's going to put Luke over there on first. And we'll see if Hayden Pearson can keep this game alive for the Jags. Pearson still without a hit here in game 2. This will be a big one here if she's able to get one up on the scoreboard for Augusta. Takes ball 1 upstairs. And the 1-0 pitch. Again, upstairs from right to make it a 2-0 count. Pearson, a freshman out of Oxford, Georgia, doing what she can to keep this inning and this game alive for Augusta. And the 2-0 pitch. This one's going to be popped up, and it stays fair. And it's going to be caught by Blair for out number 2 as Sydney Blair makes the play. And now the Jags are down to their final out here in this game, but they return to the top of their batting order with Bobby Poff. Bobby Poff has not had a hit since her first at-bat here in game 2. It was a home run to give the Jags an early lead, but since then, the Nighthawks have held her without a hit. She was struck out on her last 2 plate appearances by Tybee Denton. The 1-0, a swing and a miss, is going to make it a 1-1 count. As Wright gets the signal, here comes the 1-1 pitch. This one's going to be hit right back to Aniston, but the throw to first is not going to get there on time. So now runners are on first and second for the Jags as that ball got a piece of Aniston Wright's left leg. She had lost track of it there. The Nighthawks could have potentially ended the game there, but the throw to first was not there in time. So the Jags are still alive in this one with Slade back up to bat. Slade has had 2 flyouts and she's been struck out in this game. 0 for 3, still looking for that first hit. But the Jags are not going away. Still trying to battle here with the number 1 ranked team in the country late. So we'll see what Slade can do here with 2 runners on for North Georgia. As Wright gets the signal. This one's right down the middle from Aniston Wright for strike 1. Got Roberts on deck for Augusta. And the 0-1 pitch from right. This one's going to get over the head of Moody into left. And that's going to score Luke. Potentially score one more run for the Jags, and it will. So 2 RBIs here from Slade as she gets her first hit of the afternoon. And the Jags now with 5 runs up on the board, starting to slowly but surely attempting to climb back into this game as they put runs up on the board for the first time since the first, with 2 runs here in the 7th. They actually scored a run in the 4th. They had 2 in the 1st, 1 in the 4th, and now 2 here in the 7th. So the Jags are trying to mount a 2-out rally of their own. And the 1-0 pitch. This one's going to be hit to Blair, and the throw to first is going to get there on time. And that is going to do it. The Nighthawks win back-to-back games over Augusta to secure the series win, and North Georgia's win streak rolls along. Now 15 straight W's as they pick up their 24th straight win against the Jags, and the number 1 ranked team in the country improves to a dominant 23-2 on the season, as the Jags now fall to 12-17 as they look to secure their first win over North Georgia in the series finale tomorrow. And a 6-run inning for North Georgia in the bottom of the 5th ultimately sealed the deal in this one as North Georgia secures the series win in this PBC matchup. And tomorrow, first pitch for the series finale is set for noon right back here on the Nighthawk Sports Network and at Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium. On behalf of the rest of the NSN team, this is Robert DiClemente saying thanks so much for watching. If you stuck around with us for games 1 and 2, we appreciate you spending your afternoon with us. So long, have a great rest of your weekend, and we will see you all tomorrow.